Do you remember, y'all, how we got into that dance mom story yesterday? Well, I've got an update for you. So, yesterday we talked about how former dance mom star Nia Sioux was releasing a book, right? And it actually just got released 2 days ago on the 4th of November. And she was doing a whole bunch of promotion for her book and everything like that. And in her book, she talked about how Abby Lee Miller used to harass her, racially harass her, when she was a child on the show. So things about her hair, her feet. She used to put her in these kind of like, racially charged, kind of, kind of racist dance numbers and whatnot as well. And quite a few people, and this is a comment that we got in my chat as well, and something that I agreed with too, which was that it's strange that her mom, being such a smart woman, such an educated woman, why she would allow her to stay in that sort of an environment. Like she had her eyes wide open to what it was that her daughter was experiencing. She was there for quite a bit of it. Like, why wouldn't she have pulled her daughter from this dance studio, right? So now her mom is officially clapping back Dr. Holly at all of those complaints and criticisms in a TikTok video that I wanted to go ahead and share with you. It is just under 3 minutes long, so I'm going to let her share her side of the story. And in the live chat, you guys feel free to go ahead and continue to leave your comments. I'm going to put them up on the screen, and then we'll come back and talk about it after her video. Okay, so go ahead, take a look at what Dr. Holly had to say about her daughter's book and the criticisms that she's receiving currently.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to hop on here and let you know I still am around. I'm quiet because this is Nia's moment to shine, but I see you. And I see what you're doing. Some of you are being manipulative by trying to deflect the issue onto me. The issue's not me. This is Nia's story. Bottom of the pyramid is her story. Do not invalidate her experience by trying to shift the blame on her mother. Shame on you. You should be embarrassed. That is such an ignorant low blow, and it's so inaccurate. This is about someone who did not to do their job. No one was hired to be evil or cruel. So let's get something clear. I'm grown. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe anyone anything. And guess what? Nia's grown too. She doesn't have to ask anyone for permission to do anything. But what she wanted to do was share her story because so many people have had questions. So many people have been touched by her experiences, and she wanted to share because she knows other people can identify and relate, and she's not alone. But what we're not going to do is manipulate the truth and a narrative to fit your own agenda because you don't want to hold certain people accountable. That is something we're not going to do. So in case you forgot, I take my keys from my kids. I've been silent. I don't need dance moms. I don't need to talk about it. As you can see, I very rarely ever talk about it. This is Nia's story, but I have to come out every now and then just to remind, we're not going to take advantage and do my kid wrong. That we're not going to do, not without me saying something. So for those of you who have supported her, have bought the book, I thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that support. I see you, I hear you. Those stories mean a lot. And for those of you who want to regurgitate information that's taken out of context or listen to people who have not even read the book, because some of you who are talking, I know you haven't read the book because I know you. So instead of talking about my kid, instead of talking about a book you haven't read, why don't you support her? Support her for the 7 seasons that she gave on a show that changed pop culture phenomenon that we all love. And stop jumping to conclusions. But what we're not going to do is talk about my parenting because I have 3 fantastic kids. I know how to parent. I also know I know how to teach. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for supporting Nia. And please continue to buy Bottom of the Pyramid.
So there you go. Dr. Holly has officially dropped the mic. She says she does not want any kind of criticism about what she did or did not do to protect her daughter. Again, I got to be honest with you guys. I do stand by my opinion that I had yesterday and that I shared with you guys, which was that it is strange that she allowed for her daughter to go through this. And, watching her video, I think it does suck that she doesn't want to take any kind of ownership of that part of things. Of course, nobody was hired to be evil, to mistreat these kids or anything like that. And this isn't something that's unique to her and Nia, right? This is every single parent there. I do not understand why any of those mothers allowed for their children to be yelled at, berated, and whatnot on that show and by that teacher. I think that they should have been a lot stricter about the way that they handled Abby. They would push back against her and whatnot, but at the end of the day, they kept on sending their daughters to her. And that's something that I do find to be rather disturbing. And so I think it sucks that instead of taking any kind of ownership or accountability of that part of the equation, they only strictly want to talk about what it is that Abby did, right? Unfortunately, there are terrible people in this world who do terrible things, who say terrible things. And that's why it is important to also be willing to protect yourself if you're an adult, or to protect your children from these types of people, right? So by removing them from these sorts of environments. And I agree with you, the cat, she's deflecting. You can be a good parent, but still make mistakes. Kalia says, yes, the Laquifa dance, the name of Laquifa already there, right? Was definitely racially charged. Like, these babies don't know a thing about drag queens. Honestly, maybe it was damn if you do, damn if you don't. I don't know. Kahara says Dr. Holly ate that. Jamie says go Holly, great attitude and grace. Shelby says Holly is making herself look dumb. Abby is disgusting, but Holly, you let her be abused for whatever your reasons. Both are true, and unfortunately, I do agree with that. Chanel says, I think part of being a parent is taking accountability for when you fall short. And as a parent, she fell short by allowing her daughter to remain in a toxic environment for so long. And I agree. Abby shouldn't have done what she did at all. And that's a part of the conversation that should never be dismissed, but it is a multifaceted conversation that also includes the other parents. So not just Holly, who allowed for their children to be mistreated. These girls have been speaking out for years now about how they were traumatized by Abby Lee Miller. And this wasn't something that was happening in secrets, right? Sometimes you hear about, for example, athletic coaches or whatever mistreating their students or this or that, and the parents having literally no idea, but this was happening in front of the parents, and the parents just did not do enough to protect them. Keisha says, we honestly don't know what convos Dr. Holly has had with her daughter regarding the issue, and that is very true as well. I really hope that they've had conversations that are helpful and fruitful for the two of them in this situation. And I wonder if Nia has asked her about that too. Why didn't you pull me out? BY says, Abby was horrible to those girls on the show. They all need support regardless of their parent. And I agree. Dr. Holly doesn't want to take any accountability. And I agree with that as well. Nia had the best dead drop. I remember, and it was indeed iconic when he also said the girls were nationally humiliated by Abby. Yeah, it was really, really difficult to watch more often than not. Nia's namesake says, by the way, I love this photo. So cool. I love the show Dance Moms, partially biased because Nia and I share the same name, but I always felt so bad for Nia. Always peeped how discriminatory Abby was, but dance is harsh, black or not, right? Winnie the Cat says two things can be true at the same time. One, what Abby did was wrong and awful. There's no excuse. And two, Holly failed to protect her daughter against a woman who was nationally and publicly abusing her. So listen, I want to know how you guys feel about that. It feels like that's the general consensus here, right? Abby's terrible, but at the same time, the other parents, so not just Nia, they should have pulled their kids out and protected them more. Milan says, what about protect your child from this kinds of things, right? So it feels like she doesn't want to have that conversation at all. She says, we're going to talk about Abby and not what we did or didn't do, which, listen, I get it, in one hand, because what Abby did was worse. It never should have happened in the first place. And she wants that to be the focus. And I get that. But at the same time, there's some questions for you ladies as well, right? And this is indeed two snaps, the dark side, dark flip side of reality television. A mess. Abby's just a disgusting person overall. Thank God she is off TV.